Alrighty. Likutei Moharan, we're starting today Torah Choftes. The Gemara says, Maseches B'choros, where the famous dialogue between the sages of Athens and Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania. Now, it is important to note this, to note that the sages of Athens that we're talking about, we're not talking about the sages of Athens in the time of the Greek Empire. That, those, were around during the time of the second Megiddo, like 300 years earlier. These are the sages of Athens during the Roman Empire. It's a different can of worms altogether. So they have this exchange with Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania. That man that comes and looks for a wife, a specific wife, he wants for a specific shidduch, and they don't give him to him. They don't give her to him. What business does he have to go and ask for a woman who is more important than the one that he was refused? I mean, you should learn a kal v'chomer b'atzmai. What if this one they didn't give you? How much more so? They're not going to give you someone who is more important, more miyuchas. He answered them, Shokal Sikse. So Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania took a pin in his hand. He lowered his hand and pushed it into the wall where there was no hole there. And it didn't go in. Dale Dotzal, he lifted his hand above and stuck it to the wall in the place where there was a hole. It went in. Omer, he told them, Ainami misramale bas mazole. This person, even though he didn't get the first one he was looking for, he went to ask for a woman that was more chashav, was more important than her. He says maybe the first one was not his bashert, Now he'll have his bashert, and this is the maimah upon which this Torah is based. The Rabbeinu started this and he said as follows: Hai gava the azel by itzav lokay avel. That person who goes looking for a wife and they don't give it to her. And the Rebbe lays a principle: Ki lo kol dibur nikro dibur. Not every speech, not everything that's being said is called a dibur, it's called a saying. Like a dibur she'einu nishma v'niskabo, because a dibur that is not heard and is not accepted, einu nikra dibur, it's not called a talk, it's not called a dibur. B'vchinas mashenemo, about the union of the Shamayim, ein oimer v'ein dvorim, there's no saying and there are no words, bli nishma koilom, without the voice being heard. What's alluded to in this is when the dibur is not being nishma, is not being accepted. This is bli nishma koilom, when that situation exists, that the voice is not accepted. Ein omer v'ein dvorim, then it's like it's not called a dibur. Ein omer v'ein dvorim. The union is to say things to other people And when that dibur is not heard and is not accepted, it's not called a dibur. And the main thing that makes a dibur accepted, it's because it is packed with goodness, with good, with benefit. Everybody wants goodness. Everybody wants what they consider good. When there is goodness in the dibur, then the dibur is heard. In other words, as they say, when you scream, I hear. When you speak, I listen. Just hearing the noise doesn't mean that you hear it. Azaya dibur is listened to and accepted. But when there's no goodness inherent in the dibur, then it's not being accepted. It says, how do you permeate the good, the dibur, the speech, with goodness? Well, is when you take the dibur from the das. You don't just go ahead and blabber whatever comes to your head, but you contemplate and you think, and you're saying a dibur sheyesh bo mamash. Azay yesh bo toiv. Then there's good in it. But the dibur does not connect, does not have any das. Azay en bo toiv. Then it doesn't have any good in it. B'chinas gam belo das nefesh lo toiv. When there's no das, the nefesh, as we will prove that it means dibur, gam nefesh lo toiv. There's no goodness in this. Al pipshat, it means it's not good for a person to be without Torah. Gam belo das nefesh lo toiv. A nefesh or a dibur. This is the nefesh we proved. Yisorich of base. Or a dibur kmo shekosov hiya adam nefesh chayo, and the person and the man became a living soul. V'targumoy l'ruach memala, to a talking soul. So when the dibur is without a das, it doesn't have a good. But when you take the dibur from the das, then there's good in it. Now, it's very interesting. I met Reb Nosson Lieberman's son. Yesterday we had a meeting. And I told him, I heard from your father this vote that I told you about Erev Shabbos ben Hashmoshes with the Shadim, that the notion of lo hispik, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't have time, quote unquote. And Shabbos came in and they remain without bodies, that the Shadim are the embodiment of the illusion that there's something which can be beyond the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So I told him, I told your father, I says, your father told me this, I said about 35, 36 years ago. And I said, and I learned with you guys, Torah Chav Zayin, and we were able to understand through this dibur why the Torah of Talmidei Chachamim, the Shadim Yodoim, that they receive through the Shadim, has apikosis pre-built into it, woven into the fabric of that Torah. That vote of Nosson Lieberman makes it very, very clear. Why? Because that's the very mitzvah. So he said, what, do you remember? You remember something that my father said 30-some years ago? He says, but tomorrow I'm not going to remember what you said now. So I didn't get to talk to him about this. I don't remember everything that Nosson Lieberman said. There are a few things that he said that I remember. To be honest, I don't remember I don't remember the date of my marriage. I don't even remember how old my children are. I definitely don't remember their birth dates, what the birthday was. I don't. But I remember things, almost everything of Simcha Balev told me for the past 40 years. Almost word for word. Why? Because the Dibur, I don't remember everything he told me, but I remember everything that he told me that was a foundation for comprehension of Yiddishkeit. There was a cornerstone like that particular vot of Ronos Libermensch. It's a very important hakdama. So it's imprinted in the memory. This is called the dibur, or this nishma v'niskaba. The dibur that is being heard has been accepted. So it stays. Why? Because there's good in it. All the other diburim, if the goodness is more temporary, give you an advice, this, that, and this is only good for temporary, has only a temporary benefit. So you hear it, you adhere to it, you listen to it, but then it goes away because the goodness was limited in time. But when the goodness, the benefit is long-term, bifrat, if it's eternal, then you really remember it. Zer Kodesh says, Ashrei man demalil al udne deshama. Happy, fortunate is one who speaks to an ear that listens. I remember that Rebbe Cheshen used to tell me this all the time, because he would tell me things, and I would just go ahead and do. That the first time I met him, I came there, wearing a T-shirt, so when I came to him, he said, "Put on tzitzis," and I told him, tshuva, blah blah blah, just put on tzitzis. The week later, until the shir came to the shir, he didn't even remember me. So I came and I showed him. He says, "I'm wearing tzitzis." So he says, "Yes." So like everybody's wearing tzitzis. He didn't say everybody. He says, "Yeah." I said, "The Rav said put on tzitzis," so I did. He says, "Oh, so you listen." That's a whole different ballgame. If you're willing to listen, if you're willing to accept, if you're willing to act upon that which is told to you, then he was Makarim, the whole thing. He called his son, and became the. If the Dibur has a toiv, especially if a tzaddik like this, the Dibur has a toiv. If you notice, Uri Zohar said, that after a long time, so whatever it is, he says he hasn't read newspapers in a long time, and he said, and he picked up a newspaper, and he read it with great relish, and look at this, and look at that, and look at this, and look at that, and he spoke to somebody, and it said, "See, that's a newspaper from 2 weeks ago." So,
for him
it's still interesting. It's still interesting. No, it's not interesting anymore. All right, because it's a dibur without das. The whole newspaper, from beginning to end, is a dibur without das. When a person is not well, he's looking for an article about a specific, whatever it is, then there's good in it. So this is a dibur the nishma. Then it's relevant. But when there's no das in the dibur, it's kunished. All the diburim, that like practically 99.999% of all the talk, of all the palaver that is going on in all the communication channels, and all whatever it is, means absolutely nothing. It's nicht kein dibur b'chlal. So The Indian is that when the Dibur has a toiv, the Dibur, it's called a Dibur, and it's not sure if couple. The toiv in the Dibur, as we learned in Derech of Beis, Nelson explains it in Berachas HaShachar, Halacha Aleph. The toiv, the good, is a Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. The true good is a Kadosh Baruch Hu himself, mamish. Kal v'chomer, we proved over there in Derech of Beis that the Dibur is a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It says, "Vayipach be'apav nishmas chaim." Kadosh Baruch Hu blew into man, a soul of life. The Zohar says, "Man denafach midilei nafach." Anybody who blows, he blows his essence, right? And what happens? V'yi adam leruach chaya, and the man became a living soul, and the Targum here is leruach memalo, to a speaking spirit. The Dibur, when it really is a Dibur, it's the Kodesh Baruch Hu himself. That's why we say Ashoichen itom betoch tumasam, that the Dibur remains, it goes with a person, even when a person goes into Tumah. Even when a person goes into the lowest depth, he can always call a Kodesh Baruch Hu. He says you're not allowed to talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from a place where people are naked. What do you think the people that were getting undressed, ready to go into the gas chambers in Auschwitz, they could talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though there were people naked there? Shasat chak. What do you mean? So even
Close his eyes.
You close your eyes, you don't close it doesn't matter. But the point is that if a person is in the toilet, and the person feels like he's dying, he cannot talk to Kodesh Baruch Hu to save him? You cannot do it. There's a shasat chak. What are you going to do? But the point is that there's no place, and kal v'chomer, okay, there are halachos, there are places, whatever it is that you can do. But if a person is threatened by an avera in a mokum etunov, he should not call a Kadosh Baruch Hu to save him. The Dibur is the captive. What do you call the thing that people hold in? Bank robbers, when they hold people inside. Hostage, yeah. The Dibur is a hostage, is a Kadosh Baruch Hu being a hostage by you. Wherever it is that you go, the Dibur goes with you. You can use it to get in touch with the Kadosh Baruch Hu wherever you are, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu is by you, because the Dibur is by you. But the Dibur is only called a Dibur, is only a Kadosh Baruch Hu when there's good in it. Because good is the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. So if he's just blabbering about Hillary, or about Trump, or about this, or about Champions League, or baseball, or this, there's no goodness. There's nishkan dibur b'chlal. That's not a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's stam, okay, some verbiage, some palaver, some, blah blah. That it's gone the minute after it passes. So now comes the question, okay, but the das itself, sometimes a person is in a state, in a mood where, is just being silly, a constricted consciousness. That's the katness. It's not it says the main thing is to be meroim in the das. You have to elevate the das. And when the das is elevated, it's expanded, then there's goodness in it. It can receive more goodness. We're talking about the goodness of the right kind. receive goodness, and then you can take the dibur from the das. So the Rebbe says like this: the way to construct and to elevate the das, well, the shevach hatzadikim is through praising the praisal of the tzadikim. When people praise and glorify the tzadikim, this elevates the das. Because when you praise the tzaddikim, two things happen. The first thing that happens is it creates a room in your mind for the true emunah, that the most important thing for a person to believe, that is emunas tzaddikim. Without emunas tzaddikim, there's no emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because what is emunas tzaddikim? Emunas tzaddikim is what do you believe about a tzaddik? It's a person that learned Torah, that said HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that changed him in such a fundamental manner that he became a different Bria Kaviyachal. He became a different thing. Okay? I mean, you believe that, that when you, that math is real, or aeronautics is real, because when you build a plane according to aeronautics, it flies. It's a real thing, When you believe that the Torah and the Avodas Hashem changes a person as really and as fundamentally, as indelibly, and as like at least as when you build a plane according to science, it flies. That expands your emunah, and what happens is you become a keli. That's the whole reason why when the davening in Shmoneh Esrei, first of all you have to say the three first brachos is Shevach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you ask for whatever you want, and then the last three brachos is Vaidoah, is thank you, and asking again for Sim Shalom. The Shevach of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, the praisal of the Kodesh Baruch Hu that you're doing, opens up and gives you a keli to receive the Shevach of the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Before you Meshabech the Kodesh Baruch Hu, before you praise the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you're still locked in the mitzvahs of this world. Did I pay the bill? Did I not pay the bill? Did I take care of what I need to take care of? Did I not take care of whatever it is? Did my wife drive me crazy? Did my kids drive me crazy? Whatever it is, do I have a pay in my bag? I don't have a pay in my bag. And all those, you're a prisoner of mitzias of oil mazeh. You're not open b'chalal to get any hashpos from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's only when you're meshabech the Kodesh Baruch Hu and you praise Him, you praise the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you glorify the Kodesh Baruch Hu, it opens up your mind and makes the keli for the Kodesh Baruch Hu to actually to come in. Then Hashem is praised and glorified with you and without you. Hashem doesn't need your praises. You need those praises. When you praise it, it's like when I'm saying something, without any preamble.
Yeah.
You go, maybe you hear, maybe you don't hear, whatever it is. But if I say, listen, I've got something unbelievable to tell you. You're not going to believe this. This is like unbelievable. It's mamash and nace. Everybody's like open. You're already keilim. You're paying attention to every single word which is being said. You become a keli for that. Okay? So when somebody tells you something and you say, this is a nace, this is unbelievable. Now, when you're mishabeach this, it opens your perception to see the greatness in it and to get the imprint from it, get the shpah from it. When you're mishabeach the tzaddikim, it cements your emunah, it expands your emunah in the Kodesh Baruch Hu, in the realness of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, in the realness of the Torah, in the realness of Avodas Hashem. And it makes you a keli to get the reshimu, to get the imprint from the Kedusha of the tzaddikim. And the Kedusha of the tzaddikim is the thing that elevates the das. Interesting, in Siach Safrei Kodesh, he wrote as follows. And he says about this Indian that is being talked about in Torah Chavtes about the Shevach Tzadikim. Einer said that the main praise that we can praise Rabbeinu is that his Indian, his Zach, as they say, is continuing, his relevance, his action is continuing, and is constant even now to anybody who wants the emes, who wants to be makabel from him, and wants to feed of him. It's available right now, anybody, any place, wherever he is. If he wants to get close to a bit, to be makabel from Rabbeinu, he can do it. That's an inyan that all the other tzaddikim will not zoichet to it. I mean, Avada, it's a great thing to say, the Shevach of the Noam Melech and all of them. It's Avada, it's a great, great thing. But to a tzaddik that was zoiche, that when you want to be mekabel from him, because you want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you want to get into Avodas Hashem, you want to get live in the Torah, and you can receive him from Rabbeinu today. It's a living thing. It works on you. That is something that no other tzaddik has ever got, except of course Moshe Rabbeinu, Shem Bar Chai, and Arizal, and the Baal Shem Tov, the five tzaddik, but especially for Rabbeinu, as Rabbeinu says before, I want to do something that will remain and will be sustained for generations. That it will not stop after his stop, because the way it is with the other tzaddikim. It says, and it's not about saying moifsim for Rabbeinu. That's not what it's about. The Rebbe, he was, whenever he was doing any moifsim, he asked the Kodesh Baruch Hu that it should be forgotten, because the Rebbe said that if he would be allowed to do moifsim, that all bechira would have been taken away from people altogether. All choice.
Yeah.
Because you see that anybody that comes close to Rabbeinu, be'emes, becomes an Avodah Hashem. That is indisputable. If you add it on to this, moifsim, there's aleidik, that's it. But there has to be bechira. There has to be dispute on Rabbeinu. There has to be a machlokas on Rabbeinu, because otherwise, akol chafetzi. So the way to be meron mishabeach the das is through shevach hatzadikim b'vchinas kenesher yoel kinoi, like an eagle awakens his nest. We'll explain what is kenesher yoel kinoi, Mitzvah Hashem, what has to do with the das, and Mitzvah Hashem the next time that we'll learn, hopefully tomorrow.